Today we're going to be using the Morph tool to model some commercially available furniture. We're going to be working with this Restoration Hardware console table. And the first thing I'm going to do is copy the dimensions. And then I want this front view. I'm going to copy the image, paste it in. And then I'll resize. Control R. And I want to select these 2 points that are in a common plane so the perspective doesn't distort it too much. We're going to make this 30 inches. And then we'll confirm that the tabletop is approximately 6 feet. So it's a little more, it's not perfectly scaled, but it's going to be fine for what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and put in a slab 2 inches thick. I want to make it 30 inches from the top using the top reference. And I'm going to use the dimensions that are indicated so I can force the dimensions to be perfect. So this is the top, 72 inches by 15 inches. I'm going to go ahead and also I'm going to reorder this, but I'm going to make this at 0 and it's 1 inch, just so that I have the floor. So when I go into 3D, scale to fit, gives me something to work from, and I can see it a little bit better. So that is our top. Go ahead and change the cover fill on this so that it's a little different. And now we're going to create these legs. And there's many ways to do this, but I'm going to show you a way. So the first thing I like to do is get some of this geometry using some lines. So I know I want the leg to be 28 inches. The website said that it was 28 inches clear underneath the tabletop. And just to get some clean geometry, I'm going to approximate the center of this leg. So that I have a symmetrical shape here. And that looks a little too wide. Move this in. And since we're not actually going to be interfacing the table with anything other than just going to sit on the floor, it's not imperative that these dimensions are perfect. It just needs to look good. And if we can keep the overall shape of the object and the overall shape and dimensions of the object accurate, then that's really all that's going to matter. And here, I'm going to go ahead and split that on this line. So I have a node here. And I'll do we'll do a fillet. And you end up having to try a couple dimensions. That's probably close enough. And then we can do the same fillet on the other side. Clean up that geometry. Move this out of the way. And then this is going to be the leg. And now we need to just create a trace. Turn on the morph tool. We can set some of this up. Steel. We'll change that in a second. And we'll trace this. And we now have a morph of this cross section of the leg. So this is one way to work. Another way to do this would be to do this in a section, which is another viable option. Now if we go into 3D and zoom out, we can see that we have this leg. And we're going to assume that the bottom of the leg is square. So we're going to go ahead and set up something I usually do when I'm working with the morph tool is set up some sections. Don't need a marked distance area. We can get this object in here. And another thing I like to do, if you've seen some of my other videos, is to create a little box. Now I will create a marquee. Hit Shift F3. And now I see this is my box. I just use that for orientation. So for example, if I want to rotate this, I can drag this around to get my orientation. So I click and hold, drag along the axis. Now I have this leg in vertical orientation. And I'm going to take this. Now I have that there. Going to root it. And I'm going to go extra wide, and you'll see why I did that in a minute. I'm going to open up this section. And now I'm drawing that same line drawing over the top of this, because I want the leg to be square. And once I get to the top here, I want this to square up. Let's go back to the website. Yeah, so that's a single tapered plane. Delete some of these lines now. And I this to be the same angle. Make sure these lines are coming to corners. And we'll take the morph, click that morph, go into 3D. Screwed that through. And now I'm going to intersect these. Boolean operations, intersect. And I have the leg. That looks really good. Go back to plan view and let's go ahead and get the rest of these elements involved. This lined up. And we see we have a tube underneath, which is approximately the same width, and 4 legs. We just want to get some geometry here. So I'm going to take this, put that there, take center point of that, and rough that in. And we'll mirror this a couple times, holding shift so I can do a select. Remember to always use this option for the window. This means that you go from left to right. Anything that's fully contained will be selected. You go right to left, anything that's partially selected. And then I'm going to push this. You can see I'm very close to having this done. I want to cut these out of this table, which I don't have to. I could just pull them out slightly so that they're exposed, let the surfaces intersect, but I'll go ahead and convert this to a morph. And then I'm going to need to copy these. So F9, click in the same spot. I'm going to select the tabletop. I'm going to do a Boolean, subtract. I'm going to select the tabletop. And now I have those holes. And we'll make this cherry top. My surfaces didn't load, so it's not showing. And it's probably a pretty good idea to just bring these out a little bit. Just give us a little nicer look on those edges. But you'll see we've actually cut these the holes into the wood. So that's nice looking. And now we just need to do the last few bars here. And the best way to do that is probably plan. That's the bottom of the leg. It is tapered. Let's go back to the website. Zoom in there a bit and see. So we're going to just build that so that they're all connected and it's planar. I'd have to look at it in person to see how it's really made, but we'll keep that look. So let us go to this section. We'll open that. So this is the all right, somehow these And we'll take a circle so we can get the height of this equal to the width. Morph tool. That's going to be on the section. What we'll do here is we'll move it out, root it in. Here we will copy that. These two legs, these two legs. Looks like this one was a little as well. Try to union these and hopefully that cleans up nicely. These generally clean up really well. Everything's in fact coplanar. And let's go look at the image again. We just have this small tube here. I think we'll just do that with the slab. I'm gonna move this down 2 feet real quick. We could do this any way we want. Let's make this 2 inches. Go ahead and give it an explicit thickness right up front. Too high, we'll just down 5. And now we'll go ahead and union all 3 of these. Move this back 2 feet. And we got a nice table. So that was pretty fast, works pretty easily, just have to have a little bit of a plan. The trick here was to create the intersecting cross sections to get that taper. One last trick I'm going to show you here is the white arrow tool. If we select this and then we use F5, we can actually adjust, make sure you get the right axes here. We can extend that whole thing. So that's box selecting with the white arrow tool. Then hit F5, move it in the direction at F4. And you can do this in both the width and the length, and so you have some flexibility in how that object is ultimately sized. So if you want a variation of, because restoration hardware does offer several different. So, all right, thanks for watching. Hope that helps you understand some of the strategies that you can use to create furniture or any other object, really. And it doesn't have to start with a morph. What's great is any ArchiCAD object can, or element, can be turned into a morph. So whatever's easy, however you get there, practice that a few times, and I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks.